At 4:30 a.m. on September 28, 2025, above Belgorod, Russia, 4 American-made HIMARS rockets sliced through the fog at Mach 25. Fired from inside Ukraine, they're just 43 miles from their target. But the Triumph operators see nothing. Their radars are blind, silent, useless. In 90 seconds, their entire world will plunge into darkness. Those missiles are aimed at the Novy Oskol substation, the nerve center of Russia's regional war machine. It powers the S-400 radar, fuels the tank depots, and keeps the communications grid alive. Knocking it out means cutting the head off the beast. And this is how the Ukrainians are about to pull it off. At that same moment, 6 Ukrainian drones, 1 advanced Shark, and 5 FPV kamikaze models skim the treetops barely 50 feet high. They are the Fog Phantom Swarm. The Shark's 30x thermal camera cuts through the mist, acting as eyes for the rest. The cheaper FPVs release metallic chaff clouds that mimic flocks of birds on Russian radar. They're creating a ghost in the machine, tricking a billion-dollar Russian supercomputer with a $400 prank. The multi-million-dollar HIMARS launcher that fired those rockets is already gone. After learning a brutal lesson at Praskovka, the crew has exactly 5 minutes to vanish before counter-battery fire turns their site into a crater. By 4:31 a.m., the first HIMARS missile and the swarm are 10 miles out when they hit a digital storm. In a Ukrainian bunker, every screen turns to static. The Kasuka 4 is awake. This $50 million electronic warfare beast floods the air with chaos, spoofing GPS and scrambling comms into white noise. One FPV drone now blind jerks sideways and crashes into the trees. But the Russians don't like to admit a secret. The Kasuka gulps power like a Hummer drinks gas. Run at full blast for more than 15 minutes and it overheats, forcing a shutdown. That small weakness is all the Ukrainians need. The system's filter can't tell a drone from a flock of birds. The operator gives the order, the Fog Phantom Swarm goes live. The FPVs dive low, spitting pre-programmed chaff clouds. On Russian radar, it looks like hundreds of birds in panic flight. The Russian computers choke, drowning in false targets. At the same time, the first HIMARS missile denied its GPS does something brilliant. It switches to inertial navigation, flying by memory and internal compass. Beneath it, the Shark drone pierces the fog and locks its laser on the substation. The laser can't be jammed. The HIMARS, blind to everything else, now has one mission: fly to that dot. While the Russian EW officer panics over a phantom flock, the Ukrainian crew miles away launches a second missile. The Kasuka operator, overwhelmed, reboots his system, killing the jamming field. The signal returns, but that first launch was a flare in the electromagnetic spectrum. The Hornet's nest is awake. The Panzer S-1's guns turn, and at 4:32 a.m., it roars to life. A 57 E-6 missile streaks out at 230 feet per second, white fire ripping the dawn. The first HIMARS, flying blind on laser lock, vanishes in a bright fireball. A stray FPV drone too slow to dodge is shredded by shrapnel. In the bunker, the operator wipes sweat from his brow. 3 missiles remain. The Panzer is deadly against jets, but for this low swarm, it has 2 fatal flaws. First, the fog blinds its thermal eyes. Second, its targeting lag is 2 seconds an eternity against drones. And physics adds another weakness. Those rolling hills between the Panzer and the swarm are radar-proof walls. The Ukrainian operator seizes the moment. He commands the swarm to split. 4 FPVs drop to the deck, weaving through the birch trees like furious hornets, each deploying blazing flares to draw fire. Meanwhile, the Shark drone does the opposite. It hugs the terrain, using a small hill as cover to stay invisible to radar while keeping its laser locked on target. The second HIMARS, launched from the new position, adjusts its path by half a degree, a 200-pound GPS-denied love letter inbound. The Panzer battery, running low on ready missiles, wastes shots on the flares. But each launch, each blast is a dinner bell for a greater predator, the S-400 Triumph. Its massive radar awakens, sweeping the sky, ready to hunt. The Shark drone takes the opposite approach. It hugs the rolling terrain, hiding from the Panzer's radar, while keeping its laser marker locked on the substation. The second HIMARS, launched from a new concealed spot, updates its trajectory by half a degree, a 200-pound GPS-denied love letter coming in hot. The Panzer battery, running low on ready missiles, wastes shots on the flares. But each launch, each fiery burst rings the dinner bell for the real monster. The S-400 Triumph fully awakens. Its colossal radar sweeps the sky, its supercomputer brain spins up, tracking hundreds of targets at once. Meanwhile, the HIMARS crew is already gone, launcher packed and racing down a dirt road, because at 04:33 a.m., The Russians finally locate where they used to be. The S-400 isn't local defense, it's a strategic beast. Its massive radar sweep becomes a death sentence. It locks onto the remaining drone swarm and the inbound U.S. missile with ease. A hypersonic 48N6 missile screams off at Mach 14, a brutal hammer from the sky. The second HIMARS, flying perfectly through the radar shadow, is vaporized, mid-flight gone in a flash. 2 missiles down, 2 remain. The mission now hangs by a thread. In the Russian command room, cheers erupt, they think they've won. But the S-400 hides a fatal flaw. Its mighty computer, built to track billion-dollar jets and ICBMs, starts choking on fake bird data, a 3-second lag turning the smartest brain into a stuttering fool. While the Russian system struggles, the Ukrainian Shark drone acts as shepherd, guiding the last FPV drones into a tight formation, steering the third HIMARS onto a new path that uses a low ridge for a perfect radar blind spot. The S-400 may be a god of air defense, but it can't see through a hill. Then the Shark drone does the unthinkable. It pops up just enough to catch a laser fix on the substation, letting the beam bounce off the dense fog. The third HIMARS, blind to everything else, locks onto that shimmering dot, threading the needle through the S-400's net like a ghost. The crew scores again as Russian artillery obliterates empty mud where they once stood. The Ukrainians are already gone, launching their fourth and final missile from a third position. The S-400, now confused by skies full of phantom birds and vanishing missiles, fires 2 more multi-million-dollar shots at ghosts. At 0434 a.m., the age of hypersonic missiles and billion-dollar radar ends with farce. The battle for the Novy Oskol substation narrows to this: a few guards on a frozen rooftop and a sound, a low-rising whistle slicing through the fog, growing louder each millisecond. They can't see it, but they know it's coming. Their only choice: open fire. The night erupts in chaos, a storm of AK-74 tracers spraying blindly into the gray void. It's textbook futility trying to stop a 200-pound Mach 2.5 missile with rifles. Not a battle of prayer. Miles away, Russian artillery still hammers empty ground where the launcher once stood, each crater a monument to how thoroughly they've been outplayed. In the Ukrainian bunker, the operator watches the guards' muzzle flashes on the Shark's thermal feed. They're just a nuisance, a variable to erase. He makes the cold calculation. The Fog Phantom Swarm's next mission is no longer deception, it's execution. He pulls 1 FPV drone from its orbit, not a $150 000 missile, but a $400 3D printed kamikaze rig carrying a small anti-personnel charge. Pure tactical genius, expendable gear to clear the path for irreplaceable assets. He won't risk his last 2 HIMARS to a lucky rifle shot. The FPV drone dives. The rooftop guards spot it too late. A dark hornet rising from the fog, buzzing angrily instead of whistling. It's the last thing they ever see. The drone detonates. The roof falls silent. The final defense erased by the cheapest weapon on the field. The final 2 American-made HIMARS missiles, numbers 3 and 4, are flying unopposed. Below them, the Shark drone keeps its laser fixed, holding that steady pinpoint on the heart of the main transformer. At 0445 a.m., its camera zooms in the glowing target framed perfectly in fog. The Novy Oskol substation looms into view, its massive transformers humming like sleeping giants. On a nearby rooftop, Russian guards fire flares wildly into the sky, everyone missing by a country mile. They know the missiles are coming, they just have no clue how to stop them. That 500-ton station would need 20 seconds to trigger an emergency shutdown. The 2 remaining HIMARS will arrive in 50 milliseconds. Boom. Then boom again. 2 strikes less than a second apart, surgical perfection. But this isn't just an explosion, it's applied physics at Mach 2.5. Each 200-pound warhead is designed to punch through a foot of reinforced concrete before detonating. The first missile pierces the transformer's armor. The second vaporizes the central switch hub. The shaped charges form a molten jet tearing through steel and circuits alike. The chain reaction is catastrophic. Transformers erupt, breakers vaporize, and arcs of electricity leap 100 feet into the night. Russia's military grid takes a billion-dollar punch straight to the gut. Ukraine's revenge priceless. Zoom out. The tactical win is staggering, but the strategic effect is checkmate. That one strike erased 20% of Belgorod's military power grid. The S-400 triumph, the billion-dollar sky god, is now a blind, useless scarecrow. Fuel depots feeding Russian armor in Donbass, dead pumps. Russia's war machine in this sector isn't just wounded, it's paralyzed. Forced to pull key air defense units from the front, their grip on Donbass weakens. It's the same economic warfare that crippled 16 refineries, draining over 1 million barrels a day. From a bunker near Kharkiv, Ukrainian operators using American missiles and homegrown drones just turned a piece of Russia's energy empire into a blackout party. The lesson: don't provoke a bear that can hack and has HIMARS.